Hello, this is Sarah V. This week, I haven't felt a lot of gumption to sew, and sometimes that happens. And I didn't really feel like doing the pattern I had picked out, so it's kind of like, didn't feel like copying out. I didn't feel like sizing it up a little. I was going to do Simplicity 2412, but I needed to make it slightly bigger. I just didn't have the gumption for that. And then I started cutting out a pattern. It's McCall's. I think this is a counter number. I hate counter numbers. Display numbers. This is McCall's 8359. And then halfway through I got bored of cutting that one out. So, enough with the crinkling. It's this cute little cottagecore-esque dress. Although I think I am just going to leave out the leg slit and cut that front panel on a fold. Because I have no need for a leg slit. It would just make it more annoying for whenever I have to wear a slip with it. Not a leg slip girly. Anyway, I've been storing my upcoming fabric over yonder. And I was supposed to use this cute little button fabric that I've had for a couple years. I am two projects ahead, although 1 week behind. But as Andre and Fermin from Phantom of the Opera say, these things do happen. Anywho, got some sheets today, which I don't think I'm going to end up using the pillowcases on this, or maybe I should use the pillowcases because they're so small. And probably cut part of the top out with that, like all this pillowcase, which I guess it's not as small as I thought it was going to be. It's a sheet set after all, and I think this is a poly cotton blend. I have the fitted sheet, I have the flat sheet. I think it might be for a full-size bed. But maybe I should use the less desirable pieces first in case I want to make something else, so it'll be easier for me later. Just chaotically thinking aloud is all. Anyway, I guess I should cut some stuff out or abandon it till tomorrow. But if I abandon it till tomorrow, it's going to be a jammy day. So I'll just disappear. To be determined. On to cutting. I started by figuring out where I'm going to put some of the pieces because this is a sheet set. And I started out with the fitted sheet. I cut out the basically like those little corner seams. And then I cut the elastic off too. So we got a little bit of a funny piece going on. I had the worst time finding motivation for this project. I started this at the beginning of April. I actually started filming it the same time that I filmed that shirt pattern that I made multiple times. And I cut it out. I think it was a couple days before I even cut it out, or maybe it was the next week I cut it out. And then it sat there, and it sat there, and then it sat there, and then I started putting it together. I got about as far as the top and the skirt, not being put together, but like separate. before I started working on it again. And I didn't start doing that until last week. Which would, by the time you see this video, would probably be like 3 weeks ago. So then I connected them, and then I found out that there was like this terrible fit issue with the sleeves, and it was just really frustrating because the bust wasn't sitting where the bust was supposed to be at. The sleeves felt terrible. I just kind of pushed it away, and I made a pair of sweatpants. And that would be the video before this one. So if you want to see some sweatpants, you can go watch that video. I had a good time making those sweatpants. But yeah, I eventually decided to just take those sleeves off because it just wasn't going good at all. And I'm really glad I did. I was able to cut most of this out on just the fitted sheet. I had to cut the sleeves out of a pillowcase, but that worked quite well even though I didn't end up using the sleeves. But then I did have to cut, I decided to put a ruffle on the bottom later on, and I did cut that out of the flat sheet. Here I've begun to just chaw up that pillowcase. I'm just cutting the seams open because it's not really worth unpicking all of that. I'm not going to need those chunks anyway. Chaw, chaw, chaw. And now it's nice and open. So I brought my serger into my living room, and I talked about that a little bit. But after I made my sweatpants, I forgot to I have a pillowcase that I just stick over it because I'm too lazy to make a cover for it. And little Scooty, the little ornery little boy he is, I have to put the pillowcase over it because he likes to chew every single thread that goes into the serger. And then I go to serge and I run out of thread and I have to rethread it. So I keep that there just so he doesn't chew those threads. He doesn't even eat them. He just like cuts them all with his teeth. I'll be moving over to the machine in just a little bit, and I'm going to be starting with the bodice pieces, followed by more bodice pieces. Those are the side seams. And then now I'm doing those front seams for kind of like the bra cups. And now I'm just sewing those ties that like scrunch them up. Scooty's sewing with me here, and I had to wind the bobbin again, and he just loved looking at the thread as it wound. Now I'm securing in that elastic for the sleeves that I took off, and there's the sleeves some more, and I'm just hemming them up. And before then I did the side seam. I didn't do a lot of footage on the sleeves, they frustrated me. After I put the elastic in the bottom, I sewed those sleeves on. That's what I'm doing in this shot. And now I'm sewing the lining into it. I hated this part. There was no real part of this bodice that I was like, this is fun. It all just made me want to run away and not finish this. Now I'm trimming the seams and clipping them, and this kind of bit me in the butt a bit because whenever I took the sleeves off later, it was frustrating to get everything to sit in the right place after that, and I haven't finished sewing this yet. I'm going to have to do some kind of funny work at the top because it's just a raw edge. So Things to ponder, I reckon. And now I'm doing that understitching. Apparently I didn't film putting the skirt together at all, but now I am serging the seams for it. Back at my sewing machine, I am sewing the top to the bottom. Without the sleeves, it looks more like this, and this is sitting at the right spot. But then there's some like extra fabric now in the back, so I might have to take that in. But I kind of do like the look of the puff sleeves, but they feel absolutely terrible. I probably should have made a mock-up, but maybe I just put little straps on and just say, good enough, at least it's more wearable now, you know? Because if I have to worry about the sleeves falling down all the time, I'm not going to wear it. And that's just how it is. So I just realized I filmed that last bit in portrait. But anyway, I took the sleeves off, I re-sewed the underarm because I took the sleeves out, and right now I pinned some straps on. I haven't even sewn them up, they're just tubes. Not even tubes, they're just folded over. And it's pinned to the center back just to kind of help keep the shoulders up because they're so far set. But it fits a lot better now, and I do need to take in these side seams because they're too big. But I think the sleeves were messing up the fit of it, kind of. But if I would have altered the pattern accordingly, it probably wouldn't have had that problem, but yeah. But I think it's really cute now. And I think I am going to put a ruffle on the bottom still, just because I like a good ruffle. And I have to take this off, unpin these, take the sides in, which I'm going to have to take the boning out and put it back in. So there's that, and I'll have to redo that underarm area. So it's fine. Just keep chugging along. Here I am just sewing the ruffle on. I think I cut 9 inches off of the hem, and then I made the ruffle twice the length of what was left. And then I just gathered it all up and it was good. And I just did a small rolled hem on the ruffle. And now I am sewing up the straps. And then after this, I will be taking in the sides and redoing all the stuff I had done before. Overall, I'm quite happy with how this turned out. There is some fit issues to it, but there was fit issues to begin with. The lining layers, you can actually see kind of like making ripples underneath here because for whatever reason, the bottom of the lining, whenever I folded it up to match, I had to ease it in for some reason, which I could have fixed that, but I just eased it in, and now I am suffering the consequences. And also, this one puckers right here if it's not at just the right spot on my shoulder. Another problem I have is that with the extra tension that I needed to keep the straps from wanting to fall down all the time, it did end up pulling the center back up so that you can see at the waistline it wants to go up, which is a shame. I think I should have just crisscrossed it, but I didn't know how that would turn out at the moment, and I didn't know if I would have enough strap, and then I cut the extra strap off, and I didn't feel like making more straps, so I just am leaving it as is. But yeah. And because I didn't trim any of the layers down here to make it a little thinner, there's kind of like this visible drop off from where the top of this begins. Well, also because of the bone over here, from where the edge of the bodice begins and where the skirt starts. I am really happy that it is much more wearable than it was at the beginning of the week. And I've been working on it so long, it just feels really nice to finally have it done with. I really like the addition of the ruffle. I think it gives it a little extra something. And I'm thinking it might be even cute to make like one of those little Swiss waists in like a blue or a pink. But I might not. That might be too much. Or even like a little stay, a set of stays with the little straps that I can put sleeves on and pretend it has sleeves, so I could have puff sleeves anyway. But then it would just go down and around and down the front and just lace up in the front. But that would be fun. And I think I have some random scrap of blue fabric. It's like a velveteen that would work just perfectly with it. I think it's the exact shade. I haven't checked, but I'm pretty sure it is. Some of the things I really liked about the pattern is I love the detailing it has, even though I did get rid of the slit because I just don't like slits. But I feel like maybe that kind of top just isn't meant for me because of the differences in the height of my shoulders. So it's always going to end up with things kind of wanting to fall off. Maybe. Or maybe if I do something like that, I need an actual shoulder seam up here with an arm's eye on it. Might do better for me. I didn't really like how the sleeves were attached because you had to cut a slit into the sleeve and pivot it, which that didn't feel super secure in the long run with the sleeves. It felt kind of like a weak point because sleeves are kind of a high stress area with moving. But other than that, I think most of my problems were with the sleeves, which is a shame because I really did like the sleeves. It just wasn't doing it, and it was the end for me. Anyway, that's all for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like, and if you'd like to see more sewing content, please subscribe. If you would like to see what I'm up to day to day, feel free to follow me on Instagram at Sarah V Sews Vintage. Thank you again for watching, and see you next time.